Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to the October 2023 Equal Opportunity Review Commission meeting. Our commission chair is on right now. If she can ask for the approval of the September minutes, please.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for September?
I make a motion to approve the September minutes.
I second.
Great. All in favor indicate by saying aye, raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, commissioners, let's get to the first one. It's a housing authority. It's a heating and air conditioning support, and it's authority-wide. It's 50% WBE. Commission Chair?
Okay, so Chuck and I had a call earlier and discussed this. It's 50% WBE, 0% MBE, but this is like a task order contract, so it's per need. Is Renelda on here?
Yes, Renelda's on.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. I'm
Hi. Okay, Renaldo, can you talk about, if there's any possibility in the future of maybe MBE participation?
Yeah, there's definitely a possibility. We do have Frederick and Son, which is the WBE, that is on the contract. So they'll be receiving half of the contract as the prime. And so we can look for additional MBE participation as well.
Are they WBE and MBE by chance?
No, they are just WBE.
Okay. All right. Commissioners, do you have any questions for her?
No, I think you answered my question regarding the MBE participation. I think we had this conversation the last week in reverse with the WBE. So I think that the same type of thinking should go into this particular project. It's because 0 is a big number, but I'm just pleased to see at least 50% went to a WBE.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is this the precedent we want to set with these types of contracts? Just, I don't know if it's like they're coming to us and saying, we don't have participation now, but we hope we'll get it in the future. That's great. It's not that I don't believe them. It's that like the entire point of the commission is to make sure that participation is there before the contract is approved, and we're kind of just negating that by setting this precedent where we don't hold them accountable at this stage of the process. And I'm not like specifically saying anything about this contract in general. I'm just curious what commissioners think about moving forward with this kind of approach.
Your point is well taken, because my thinking is that if there's there's certain areas in these contracts that are specifically what we don't have minority contractors to qualify for. But in areas that we have contractors to qualify for, I think we should make every effort to include them. Certain areas of specificity, we can't, like even a contract that we're going to review today, we don't have any contractors to fit that bill. But areas that we do have contractors to fit, like heating and air conditioning, I think we should make every effort to bring that into fruition.
But can I
Tracy?
say that even if we can do as much outreach, but we cannot force a hand. We can't force someone to submit a bid. So we can do as much outreach and have those measures in place, but we cannot force someone's hand to submit a bid.
Tracy, you had a question?
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Sweet-Cushman, because are we going back out to then ensure that they are finding MBEs, and at that point, is it a moot point? to try and go back and look once it's approved? Or are we gonna give or put it upon the authority to come back and say, you know, we were able to find X number of MBE, or our percentage of MBE participation is now such, or again, is it a moot point since it's already been approved? That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and to Ronaldo's point, we used to get the good faith effort checklist. And what you're describing, Ronaldo, is a good faith effort. And so if we saw that checklist, which we don't still get, you know, we can then weigh that in consideration of the contract.
And let me chime in here. The good faith checklist we haven't been given because we've been giving you these synopsis. I can send you the whole package that I get from Ronaldo, but it's 30 pages. And I know you guys don't have time to look at it. Second, this is a maintenance as needed contract. Okay, this is not like one that we absolutely positively know what the numbers will be. Okay, they might not even receive the amount here. Okay, because it's maintenance. They might not use the whole 900. They might not get the whole 450. These are projections on the maintenance part of this. I do agree with you that we could have looked for more MBE. However, that 50% WEE is really good, because you guys got to remember what we do at the end of the day, or at the end of the year, I should say, is try to make our 18 and 7 across the board. There are some that'll be higher MBE. There will be some that are higher WBE. But our goal is to make the 18 and 7 across the board out of all these contracts. And I do understand what you guys are asking, but if we could keep that in mind, that would be great.
Yeah.
Chuck, I don't want the 30 pages of materials. It's not realistic. But
I know you don't.
Yeah, the good faith checklist, though, I think that's pivotal in our decision making, is when we get a contract like this, if they've gone through the good faith effort, then this is fine. We right. Understand that. So, but okay. without seeing what that effort was, I don't know whether it's just that there isn't anybody willing to bid, or if the work wasn't done.
They went through the checklist. They reached out. I have the checklist with their package. They reached out. They checked through the checklist. I can add that to the synopsis. You guys haven't been asking for that lately. You guys have just been, feeding off the synopsis that I send. But I can definitely send the checklist as an addendum to each one of these. Also, if
no, Chuck, no.
Okay, all right.
Hold on, and then Dr. Hall, you can go right as soon as I'm done. If there is not an 18 and 7% matched, include the checklist for good faith effort. Show us the good faith effort so that we can make an informed decision. I don't want 30 pages. I don't need a checklist for something that we know is going to pass because they've met the goals. Okay. Dr. Hall, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add, like, usually in these cases, we usually ask them just to come back and do their best to get that, get some, whether it's MBE or WBEs. So I hear everyone's point, agree on most of it, but this is we don't want to set precedent, but if this is one of those where they may not make the number, and do we need to have them come back with another opportunity to say, hey, this is what we've been able to do? So I'm just throwing that out there for us to consider before we don't approve, or if we do approve. That's my point.
And there's something else I'd like to add. If the checklist wasn't where it should be, I would not present them to you guys. So let's start right there. If they didn't go through their checklist and satisfy our office, you will not see it on the agenda. That's the way I've been doing it. If their checklist is not up to snuff, you won't even see it on the agenda, because I'll work with them to get it right. So when I do these synopsis to you guys, I've already went through the checklist in the 30-page report that they send us. So, like I said, I can put the checklist on here with an attachment to this, but that's something our department already does, right? We already do that as far as go through the checklist and make sure that they done their outreach and everything.
Chuck, I can appreciate that, Chuck. The only thing, a zero is really a staggering number. And I think that I would really, I want, in terms of good faith, if this is approved, I still would like the option to refer contractors to Ronaldo to add to that maintenance contract, because that's an area that there are minority contractors in. And for the be zero, it just doesn't sit well with me, to be honest with you. And I understand you make the numbers, but also our goal is to really impact contractors, as a commissioner, where we can really impact them, because there are several contracts, when I review the synopsis, that we have no input at all because they're proprietary. But if there are areas that we can really do this thing, and I think we need to, appreciate the effort that you and UPAR put in. But I think that, there are Black minority contractors out there that does heating and air conditioning. So.
Okay, well, Jim, are they on the HACP website? Are they on the bidders list? Have you had conversations? Because Ronaldo, did you get submissions for it? Did people propose?
Ronaldo can only reach out to the companies that she reached out to, which she did. She can only reach out to them. She can't make them or assign them to any.
No, I understand that.
Right.
Obviously, I understand.
And if we're going to do this, guys, which I'm fine in doing it, but let's keep in mind, very seldom, right? Very seldom do we have numbers in all four categories, right? So if we're going to do this for the MBE zeros, we got to do it for the LGBT plus zeros, the veteran zeros, right? This has to be, if we're going to set a precedent where we're going to say a zero is a bad thing, right? Then all the zeros are bad. And we also, if we're going to set it like this, if we don't make the 18, 7, 5, and 3 on any particular contract, there's going to be an issue.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think what any of us are saying at all. They're all four categories are important. And we're not saying that one's more important than other. We're just saying, like, I agree with the good faith checklist. In this case, if we had it, we would probably passed it and moved on to the next. That's all I'm hearing.
Right,
so,
but all
and zeros are zero in the MWB or WB, those are horrible, because we hear that they did do a good faith effort. That's wonderful.
Right.
But we can't make assumptions on all those that come before us that they've done so.
Okay, then in the past, and I'll do it in the future, but in the past, we were working off the synopsis. You guys didn't even, this is the first time in, I'll bet 6 meetings, if not more, that you've asked to see a good faith checklist when the numbers weren't right. Now that's our office's job to make sure that the good faith checklist is checked.
So commissioners, what's the difference today, commissioners? If that's the case, what's the difference today? If
I voted no on the contract last month too.
Okay.
So
all right.
I just think, Chuck, it's not that I don't believe that you're looking at the good faith checklist. I just feel like I have an obligation as a commissioner to also be able to interrogate that good faith checklist and ask questions about it as well, because they're just checking a box. I don't have any insight into that.
I agree with you, Commissioner Cushman, but I follow up on all this stuff. That's what I do all day. When I get that checklist, I make sure that they reached out to those people. Okay, that's what I do.
Well, then what are we needed for?
No, you're needed to check the synopsis and pass the plan, right? There is conversation, Commissioner Chair, just we're actually going through a procurement modernization update as we speak on how these contracts are viewed. Okay?
Mhm.
The Equal Opportunity Review Commission, you guys are one of the best commissions we have in the city by far, to make sure these contracts are in compliance.
Okay,
I
well,
can start, what I can start doing, like I said, is giving you the synopsis and the checklist. I go over a 30-page, there's a lot, guys.
I know, I used to
there's
get
a
all
lot.
30 pages.
There's
Believe
a
me, I've
lot.
been on this commission since
There's a
2012.
lot. So when I give you these synopsis, I've already went through their 30-page things. I call the subs to make sure they're on it. I make sure their letter of commitments are signed. I check the checklist. Then I create the synopsis. If none of that stuff works for me, you won't even see it won't even come to you that month. You won't even see the synopsis is what I'm saying. Okay?
I feel you, Chuck. My only thing is, even in your due diligence, and you have done this in the past, because we all have pretty aggressive schedules. But if you would shoot me an email and said, okay, Jim, I'm looking for X amount of contractors that deal with HVAC, and have you submitted or have you checked your list, and that would then be a part of your due diligence, because we've done that in the past. And then I would have shot you a couple of names that you could have checked out regarding this particular contract. So,
and Commissioner Belfelt, I agree with you 9,000%. However, this is a housing authority contract. This is not a city of Pittsburgh contract.
You just said you check them out, though, Chuck. You just said
I check it out. I check the housing authority contract. I don't have any. Let's back up, please, a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting in the weeds, guys.
Yeah, we're getting in the weeds. Let's back up a little bit. This is a housing authority project. I check all the paperwork for each project. Okay. The housing authority projects, just like the URA, the SEA, the parking authority, right? We only check those contracts to make sure that they did their due diligence and did their whatever they have to do their good faith effort, right? Mm-hmm. I personally do not recommend anybody to the authority contracts. Okay? I do with the city contracts because I have a little bit of say-so over the city contracts. I have no say-so over the housing authority contracts. The best I can do is recommend stuff.
Listen, I'm going to put this to bed.
Yeah, please.
Here's what we would like to see. If the goals are not met, okay, just add the checklist to it. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm glad you brought up the Sports and Exhibition Authority. I'm glad you brought up the URA. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought up all of them, because guess what? They don't come to us. They don't sit in front of us. The Housing Authority does, and always has.
And so does the URA.
They're on board with the same mission that we're on board with, which is why 90% of the time I'm comfortable with what they're presenting, because I know how committed they are, and I know that they do their good faith effort. But as commissioners, we're taking time out of our day once a month to volunteer to be here. We feel pretty useless if we're not given the opportunity to review things when the goals aren't met. It's our responsibility.
Right. And
to advocate for minority and women-owned businesses, LGBTQ and veterans. So if the goals are not met, just let us know what the good faith effort was. Okay.
Okay, I will. And
all right. I don't want this to go any further down the road if we can avoid it. Okay.
Let me make one more statement. Right.
All right.
And then I'll be out of here. I've always opened up my phone line for you guys on any Tuesday. I think we already went through this. If you guys want to have a one-on-one on what's coming up in the meeting, I talked to Commissioner Belthorpe. I talked to Commissioner Hall. I talked to Chairman Conley before these meetings happen to let them know what's going on the agenda.
Yeah, and I told you this one was
I'll-
going to be a
I'll-
problem, and the next one's
I'll-
going to be even worse. So
I'll do all of you guys, right? Individually to let you know what's going on.
Well, I don't think that's really necessary, Chuck.
I know
But-
it's not necessary, but it seems like that for me, this is for me. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm doing all this background work to make you a synopsis for you to review. I will add the checklist to it. But keep in mind, we are going under some procurement modernization, like I said, where we're reviving that checklist. Okay? But I will add the checklist with the synopsis from here on. Don't make it real easy for everybody, okay?
Okay. Everybody good with that?
That's great.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Commissioner Hall makes a motion to approve.
Can I
Second,
get- Great. All in favor by approving, raise your hand.
Aye.
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 We have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Motion passes. Thank you, Ronaldo.
You're welcome. Thank you, commissioners.
Okay, the next one.
Mm.
Okay, the next one is for the special event permitting. It's a software package. It's a 5-year contract, which comes out to be around $50,000 a year. The only reason that I did not give this a waiver, and I've talked to Commission Chair about this, is the amount of the contract. Okay? That has to come through. When I talked to Commission Chair earlier today, she was suggesting I could give this a waiver. And she was right if it was 50,000 or below. With it being above the 50,000 threshold, you guys have to approve this, according to the mayor, staff of the hall. This is a software package for special event permitting. You know, the marathon, the great race, all that stuff. Commission Chair?
Yeah, go ahead. It's 0% across the board, 0% participation. I don't know what you want us to do with it.
I have a question.
I can't waive this.
Go ahead. Hold on.
My question
Sarah.
is, we have it's from Vancouver, British Columbia. There were no IT folks in the States or in Pennsylvania where this money could be spent?
Now, that's a great question.
Me, you go
I
to
think we have
Canada.
somebody on the line for that. Now, that's the question that should be asked.
I mean, we're like the home of Carnegie Mellon University and robotics and all kinds of IT.
Mhm.
Even Google, has a location here. And
I think we have somebody on the call that can answer that question.
Hi, everyone. Charles Showers, Manager of Personnel and Finance for Public Safety. So I will defer to our Film and Event Permitting Manager, Brian Cates, who's on the call, as well as Carolyn Wormser, our representative from the vendor on the call. So this was put out for request for proposal. And this vendor was what we believe to be the most the best response to the needs of the city in this regard. I understand that there are other software companies in Pennsylvania and even in the city, but as was noted under the previous contract, those companies did not bid, as far as I know. I will defer to our other representatives on the call who are more involved in the RFP process.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is
Thank
Brian Cates. I'm the Film and Event Manager for the Office of Film and Event Management, City of Pittsburgh Public Safety. This software system is the lifeblood of our operations down here. It's how we process all of our permits. And as Charles mentioned, we put out an RFP requesting proposals to replace our current system, which is expiring. We received 3 responses from 3 companies. This company here, Approval, was the only one that fit the needs of the process. They just so happen to be located in Vancouver. From my experience in the past, the first time we did this, custom build jobs can be as much as 10 times the cost of this. This is an off-the-shelf solution that is pre-built, so there's no development cost. It's web-based, there's no tech needs on the city side. All those things being attractive from a cost standpoint. So through the RFP process, which was open for over a month, I believe, we received 3 responses, this one being the one that met our needs. And if there's any questions about the participation levels, Carolyn, I know, is representing the vendor and can probably answer those more directly.
Thank you, Brian. And my name is Carolyn Wormser. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at eProval. And prior to that, I actually worked for the City of San Diego for 30 years. So I really do understand the importance of this commission. So eProval is based in Vancouver, British Columbia. And it is the leader in special event permitting, special event and film permitting in North America. The company has 8 full-time employees. 3 of those employees are the co-founders. They're equal owners. One of them is a woman, and one of them would qualify, represents a minority community. Of the 8 employees, 4 are women, 2 represent different minority communities. And we have an offer letter out right now to a new potential full-time employee who is a woman and would represent a 3rd minority community.
So are you saying that the owners are women and minority in classification? And if that's if that answer is yes, why are you not certified?
They're Canadian because they're Canadian.
Because we're Canadian.
Oh, because they're Canadian.
They're Canadian.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Yeah. I live in San Diego, and so I completely understand this process. They are very committed to a diverse workforce, but this is not something that they're familiar with. And we can't really qualify on some of these US MBE, WB, processes. But I have really, I actually spend a lot of time with the management team because this is something that I worked on my entire career. And they understand the significance and the importance and the commitment to all of these tenants. And they demonstrate it in their hiring practices.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I'm trying to understand even where there might be opportunity for subcontracting.
There is.
If it's an off-the-shelf product, what are the services involved? And if there aren't really services involved, why is it a services contract and not just a purchase of software? Or is there some training involved? I mean, is there any opportunity for subcontracting locally and with MWBEs?
So we're an we're a cloud-based solution for special event permitting. And one of the cost efficiencies that we bring to our clients is that we have benchmarked the best practices across the US and Canada, but primarily the United States in special events and filming. And we've created prototype permit online applications for our clients. And so when we onboard a client, we do work with the client to go through our prototype and configure it. We don't need to do any special customization, but we can configure it to meet the unique needs of every community. Every community is different and has some areas of emphasis, some different policies that need to be addressed. And we do that through the configuration process with the client. We also then have our director of customer success does some online training to bring on board the administrator and trains the users. And then we have, knowledge-based learning online. There doesn't seem to be much need for training. It's a very intuitive product. So we really don't use, additional subcontractors. And that's actually one of the cost savings that we passed on to communities, is that we've developed a sophisticated enough product that we don't have to have all these unknown costs and add-on costs.
Well, commissioners, I'm satisfied with that explanation. I think that if this company was located in the United States, it would definitely have its certification.
Dr. Hall has her hand up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
She's been so patient.
All right, so
I can't see her. I'm on my phone, so I can't see her
I've
little
been like,
tile.
she's
on
got
my
a
thing.
question.
Sorry.
no, so I'm ready to move forward as well. But the question I'm asking, it was mentioned before that that other primes know that this contract was available. It was like there was something like that wasn't definitive, where this was like the only prime that bid for this contract. So that's my question. Were there other companies that knew about this contract?
Brian, that's a question for you.
Yeah, sorry, there's an ambulance outside my window. I was trying to let it pass. So to understand my question, you were curious about the what other companies may have responded?
Yeah, you're right, because in the beginning it was, I heard maybe, or I think there were other primes that they didn't apply, they didn't bid for this contract. So were there or were there not other primes that submitted for this contract?
Yeah, so the original, the RFP that went out, the original plan was to find a solution that would cover our permitting needs, film events, block parties, et cetera, as well as the parks department's needs for online management of like the rec centers and things like that, and public works needs for ball fields, park shelters, et cetera, et cetera. So the RFP was ultimately looking for a company to manage all of those services. There was 3 responding companies, 2 of which were more appropriate for DPW and parks. Approval here was really the only respondent that could do our needs. The other 2 companies could not. We went through the Technology Leadership Council, the mayor's office, the whole chain of command there, for permission to split the bid between Approval and the company that Parks and DPW chose to go to. That approval was granted because the funding didn't exceed the umbrella cost that we were given for the project. That's why we're moving forward with the approval here. So there were 3 respondents, 2 of which could not satisfy our part of the RFP requirements. Only Approval could. And that was posted for, I think, 6 weeks and published locally and, open for any sort of suggestion. It wasn't for an off-the-shelf product. We could have had respondents offer a custom-built product, but those didn't come in during that process.
So I'm going to follow up with that question, and if it takes us a little further off, Commissioner or Chair Conley just say, "Hey, co-chair, we need to talk about that." That's between you and Brian. Okay. My next question. So this company coming in, will they have anything to do with deciding upon outside entities like schools being able to use fields and the actual permit? Will this company have any of that decision making?
No, the company won't have any decision making. It's more an online solution for the public
Okay.
to input the data we need. We process it, then we issue the invoice back to the public. It's merely a vessel for that information and our billing and permitting. The company has no management oversight over the process itself or anything like that.
All right, that's
And
all
that
I got.
the fields and school stuff would be through Public Works anyway. It wouldn't even be through this vendor.
Thank you.
Dr. Hall, are you ready to make a motion?
I sure will. Commissioner Hall makes a motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thanks, Jenny. All in favor indicate by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Okay, plan passes.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I missed your name and you're not on my screen, but the representative from the company, thank you so much for joining this call. Your input really made a difference here in changing our minds, because it wasn't looking good before you started talking.
Well, thank you. And I genuinely appreciate that. I really enjoyed attending this meeting because I think these commissioners are really doing important work for the community. And I appreciate the tough questions. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
Thank you,
right.
commissioners.
Sure,
Thank you.
Dan, Charles, you can, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All
Have a
right,
good day.
is POSNA on? You want
Yes,
to go
the
on to
POSNA's
the
on.
ITQs?
Commissioner Carney, I just want to make a note for the record.
Sure.
Just for, because this contract was exactly what I was talking about. There's very few minorities that could fill the criteria for a contract like that. So the zeros are sufficient. So that's the point I was making. If there are opportunities for contracts that we do have contractors for, we need to go all in for them. That's the point I was making. I would not contest this project, even though they're all zeros, because there's specificities that's involved that we don't have the criteria to, we don't have the contractors that can meet the criteria. So I just want to make that note. That was my point that I was making earlier.
Mm-hmm. And Jim, while we're on that subject, so the companies that you're advocating for, are they on these bidders lists? Are they getting the advertisements from Housing Authority, from City of Pittsburgh, from UR? Like that's the first step.
Right. And I take responsibility for that. And in the future, I would do my homework and do my due diligence, because a lot of these I just let the system take care of. So I received that.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that the authorities can do if those companies did not submit a proposal.
I agree.
And and to bring them in after the fact, that's not fair to the people that the companies that did submit proposals. So it's, that's okay. I've said what I wanted to say about that.
Sorry. Sheriff, if I
Go ahead,
could
Tracy.
add one more thing for Mr. Balthrop. I think if you find that those individuals did receive notice of these particular opportunities and they did not bid, finding out why they did not bid. Was it that they felt that they didn't have capacity? And what kind of capacity building do they need in order to feel that it's appropriate to bid? And I think that's something else that we need to keep in mind.
Commissioner,
Duly noted.
that's a great thing, because what we're doing now, thank you. Because what we're doing now with our procurement department, this is the city procurement department, we're asking them to make a paragraph or two on why a person did not get the bid, right? So we can go back to them and say, hey, you need to do this next time or do this next time. So yes, we are doing that. That was something we just started doing. So thank you. We are reaching back out to the primes who did not get the bid and let them know why they did not get the bid.
That's great. That's a great follow-up in like a self-evaluation of maybe it's the process, maybe the process is too complicated, maybe, I would like to know that information as well.
And we're encouraging people to come to the bid openings.
Mhm.
You can see all the bids, right?
Yeah.
Even sealed bids. You come see all the bids and see who won and how they won. All you gotta do is come to the bid openings, which we highly suggest that everybody who bids on the project come to the openings.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, wait. So Chuck, where are these bid openings? Are these online? Because that would help
No,
knowledge as well.
some of them are online, depending on what they are, Commissioner Hall. Say, for example, it's an IT contract. That probably would be online because the IT people are coming from everywhere, right? Most 99% of the construction contracts, the bid openings are right here in this building.
Okay.
And I tell everybody at our pre-bid meetings to come to the bid openings. Jim will tell you that. He's been at a few of our pre-bid meetings. I tell everybody to come to the bid openings. That way you know who wins and how they won.
Right.
Thank you.
And my last point, you're right, Chuck, absolutely. And just to let the commissioners know exactly what a lot of my challenges are with my contractors are, what the point that I have to fight aggressively is that a lot of the prime contractors do business with companies and subcontractors they are familiar with. It's so difficult to break into that old boy system. So that's why you see some frustration in my comments regarding some of the contracts. It's hard to crack that old boy network. And as commissioners, I just glad that at least we are taking it through an examination process to at least make them thoughtful before they come before the commission. So on that note, I yield.
Okay. Apasna?
Good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you all for joining. So an update on the ITQs. There are 4 of them, all from DOMI and Department of Mobility and Infrastructure. The first one is Project Management, Traffic and Planning Assistance. The prime here is CDR McGuire. This, however, is less than 50,000, so I will not go into the details. The next is Andover Terrace Retaining Wall construction. And this is a supplemental plan. The prime here is ground technology. There are 2 subs on this, one of which is urban terrain, a WBE. The total project cost is 81,142, out of which 5,500 will go to the WBE. The next one, CMCI, the construction management, construction inspection, Riverview, Park Slide S6 is, this is also DOMI. The prime here is TRC Engineers. The project cost is 65,295, out of which 16,323 goes to an MBE ANA Consultants. The next 2 both are on Fraser Street Steps reconstruction. The first one is more on the geotechnical side. The project cost here is 77,836. The sub-consultant Terra Testing is veteran owned and they will receive 33,000. The additional ITQ order on this plan has HW Lochner as the prime. The amount here, the project cost is 93,296. There are 2 WBEs, the Lexus Group and the Manola Basin Engineers. So together they constitute about 33% of the total project cost. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, a few updates from me. The first one is, did you guys see the email I sent you about the fleet? You guys didn't look at it, huh? Those are the emails. Go back to the original conversation when all this started, right? If I can't find participation in the good faith efforts, not good, I'm going to reach out to you guys to see if you know anybody or any companies that we can help. That's why you don't see the fleet or the fleet contract in front of you today.
Mhm.
I pushed that back because they weren't ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chuck, a quick question with regard to that one. You said you're looking to find certified MWBE. Are you also looking for veteran and
Veteran and the LGBTQ plus
Yeah.
Okay.
and auto bodies, auto glass, right? And I've been working with these people now for 2 months. We've called everybody in the city, just about.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to be part of this for a couple of reasons. One, they'd have to stop what they're doing if the city send them a vehicle,
Yeah.
right? And they just don't want to go for that. And two, a lot of them don't want to get certified because they're saying they have enough business without the certification, right?
Mhm.
So we do have a few. Now in 2016, you guys approved this contract. I wasn't here yet, with 1% on it. Nobody's talking now. In 2016, you guys approved this contract with 1%. Okay.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to do is anything better than 1% to me will be an improvement. But I'm trying to get it up to at least 5 or 10%. This is one of the hardest ones that I've had to do.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I understood, Chuck, but to me, what you just told us speaks to a bigger issue with regard to minority, women, LGBTQ, and veteran businesses not wanting to go through, and this is not the first time that I've heard it, not
Right.
wanting to go through the certification process, with it being too long, too hard to get certified, and then feeling like they're pigeonholed. There's something wrong with the process if they don't want to do it. I mean, I can
Right.
speak to it at the development across the street. We have businesses that are trying to get certified and they can't. And we all need to keep in mind that based upon the lawsuit that's happening based at the federal level, because of the Supreme Court decision with affirmative action, there are the federal government is no longer certifying businesses because there's a hold.
Right.
Because of that lawsuit, because the federal government has been sued, saying that it's discriminatory. So we may see businesses that can't get certified on the federal side, and then they don't want to do it with the state and local for some reason. So what do we do?
So this has
This
been,
is-
can I just add, this
Yes.
has been before all these lawsuits. So this whole idea of these certifications being muddied,
Definitely.
confused, this is way before right what we're
Dr.
talking about.
Right.
In addition
Yes.
to now,
But-
this is something else that's happening on top
Yeah.
of that. But you're right,
Yeah,
because
I've lost track of how long I've been on this commission, but probably the first year I was on this commission, I started hearing
we've
the
heard that.
certification process by people that came into the monthly meetings and was sharing their experience.
Exactly.
Well, here's what we're doing, guys. And this is another, that's a great question. In our procurement modernization that we're doing right now, we are going to try to have a city certification process. Yes, where it's not as extensive as the other agencies. And we're going to do it for local businesses only to start, to get them in the system. And once we get them city certified, they can be counted as towards the goals of participation in NWBE. We
That's
are
great.
working on that right now.
Great.
So
And
is
these are
that
some
on
of the, these are some of the,
2024? Is that on the
2024.
2024 agenda?
Yep, we're getting ready, we're working on it. Me and the law department are working on it right now.
Thank you.
To what qualifications they need to be city certified.
Very good.
Chuck, fantastic, Chuck, because now we can maybe have, instead of 0 WBEs,
Right.
which is just kills me every time I see that for the women, because
Right.
as you mentioned, Chuck, it's the old boys network. We need to chop all that down and just make it a general network, right? But Chuck,
And-
that's outstanding to hear.
Right. And this is why I kind of ask you guys, if you have free time, I know you guys are all very, very busy, but if you can call me every now and then and say, Chuck, what's going on in the office? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? It'd take me 5-10 minutes to brief you guys on what we're doing. Okay. some of the questions that you asked at the beginning of this meeting, I understood perfectly. But those are things that we're working on.
Mhm.
And I could have let you guys know we're working on that stuff, right? To make it easier and better for local and small businesses. We just got, maybe 2 months ago, maybe not even that long ago, a complete list from Three Rivers Business Alliance on their certified LGBTQ businesses.
Yay.
And I've been pumping them out to everybody who's doing a job. Okay? So they're getting that list too. Upasna sends out the list of the veterans on every job to see if they can, now the veterans, there's only a handful of companies, right? So we are working on that, guys. The city certification, we hope to kick off in 2024.
Very good.
Fantastic. It will be a big help.
Yes.
No question.
I agree.
Yep. Okay, the other thing I have to ask is a little bit off topic. Next month, I'm sorry, our November 16th meeting, I'm hoping you guys can all make it. We're going to have the meeting in person because I'm having the mayor, chief of staff, and everybody come up for an appreciation luncheon for you guys. Okay, so the meeting next month on the 16th will be here in the Learning Lab.
Question.
Yes.
So, Chuck, you already know. So on November 16th, I'm hosting the Title IX 50, like where we headed, from 10 to 12. So I would propose and welcome all of the commissioners to come to that. And then let's go over to the ERC celebration.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there.
All
But
right.
you all will get invitations to attend the
Right.
Title IX event.
Well, this is what I tell you, Commissioner Hall. After your event, you come on over because we'll still be eating. So you come on over.
I've already discussed that with you, Chuck. That was
I
not for
know.
you. I already had that conversation with you. This was for the commissioners.
Okay.
But everyone will get an invite anyways.
Right. So what I need right now, or not right now, I hope now you can give it to me, if you're coming or not, because I'm meeting with the caterer tomorrow. So I need to get a number, if possible.
I'm coming, Chuck.
Okay.
After my event.
The caterer
right.
certified?
Huh?
Is the caterer certified?
The caterer is, that's a good question. The caterer is a minority.
Yeah. I was gonna
WB or
say,
MB?
talk to Juan. He has all kind of minority caterers.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be there, but you're meeting with the caterer, but they won't need that final number until probably a week before. So
No. They asked me, they're asking me because what they want to do, I'm hoping to have around 15 or 20 people when we count the mayor's staff or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? I have to give him half the money up front.
Oh, okay.
So he's calculating per person, I believe.
I'll be there.
Okay.
I plan to be there.
Yeah, I plan to be there too.
Okay. Great. And for just, the caterer is, just so you guys know, he's Ray Ray's. He's the one that's been winning the Rib Fest for the last 3 years.
Oh.
So I'm not gonna have all ribs though, guys. We'll have some chicken and stuff too. But he's the gentleman, the minority gentleman that's been winning the Market Square Rib Fest for the last 3 years.
Okay.
All right.
So okay, so next month we'll have the 12 meeting and then we'll break into a little appreciation.
What time are we starting? I don't want to miss it.
We're going to start at 12. We're going to do our regular meeting first.
Okay, good.
And then we'll have that. Now, the only thing next month, guys, that I would like to do, and I send you that list, if you can please, if you know any people that can do that auto stuff, I need to know, okay? Because I really want them. And what I did get them to do, which was great, it's a multi-year contract, but they're going to come to the EORC every year.
Yeah, that's gonna help. That's gonna help. So even if there's not a company right now that's certified, maybe by next year you'll have that city certification. There will be,
Yes.
We'll be able to
So-
find, we'll be able to
it-
find somebody that could be
right.
on that contract next year.
And they've also agreed with me and my department to continue to look for folks to put on that contract.
Great.
All the way throughout the whole contract, we're gonna monitor it. And they said they're gonna look for folks, and we're gonna continue to send them folks.
All right.
I
Well,
am
good work.
sympathetic to your second issue, though, that they're giving, the second answer they're giving you around having to drop everything to service a city car if it comes in.
yeah.
I mean, that, I don't know if the city offers a higher, some kind of higher rate for that kind of service, but if you're a small company, why would you buy into that,
Well, this is what I heard, Commissioner, from one of the vendors.
I know, I'm just saying, it's another
I
sort
know.
of problem in the system that,
No, this is what I heard from one of them. If I'm working on a vehicle, right, and he's only a 2 or 3 man shop. He's a small
Yeah.
shop. He said, if I'm working on a vehicle and I'm halfway through it and the city sends me a vehicle to fix, I'm gonna have to fix the city vehicle because of the turnaround time. Because they're mostly police cars, ambulances, whatever needs to be fixed. So he says, I can't do that to the client that I already have.
Yeah.
Right?
well, can you ask, maybe just call the city yourself and ask for clarification on that?
I was at a meeting yesterday. That is the clarification.
That is because they're
That can be
emergency
the answer?
response. Yeah.
Yes. The city wants that vehicle back, really turnover.
Well, then,
really
you know
fast.
what? The city should have its own mechanic shop.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking.
No, see, it's a good question. The city does have its own mechanic shop. I didn't ask you guys for any mechanics. I asked you guys for auto body, auto glass,
well, they should have that
auto
too.
parts,
They should have that too.
right? No, you can't keep auto glass because that's an iffy. You don't know when your windshield's going to break. How are we supposed to, inventory?
Oh, it's
And
money
that's-
sitting on a shelf.
Right.
Yeah, inventory
But
wise.
it's the same thing for these small businesses as well.
That's
And
right.
they give up their other business anticipating that they're going to have constant flow of cars coming in because
That's
it's
right.
when they come in.
That's right. I agree, Commissioner. They don't know if they're going to get a car every month or a car every week, right?
Mhm.
And then when they get a car, if they got a car in their shop, they're stuck.
It's quite the conundrum.
It is. And
I don't blame
I've been
them.
working on this for like 2 months, guys. And it's a tough one. This is going to be a tough one. And it's an $8 million contract to boot. $8 million a year, by the way.
A
Ooh.
lot of broken windows.
But remember, our mechanics do all the inspections, the brake work, transmissions, all that other stuff. The 3 major categories are right there. If we can meet our goals, if we can find a minority who sells auto parts. That's where it's at. Okay.
Yep.
That's where it is, because they have to, we don't make the parts. So that's the big one. If we can find a minority certified women or man, LGBTQ or veteran that does auto parts.
Probably going to find them, and I hate to say it, not in Pittsburgh, but probably in Detroit.
And Commissioner, here's the next, you said something that the fleet manager said yesterday. He said, am I able to go to places where they actually built cars to find out? That was the question yesterday. So
And they'd have to take the car to Detroit, right?
No, you can, this is just to order parts.
This is to order parts. This is parts.
All right.
This is parts. And we said we would go local, right? I sat with them yesterday for an hour and a half, called all the local folks. Now I send them all the regional folks, right? This morning. They're going to start calling them. If the regional folks don't come in, I am going to go national. Okay, I am going to go because there is a Black man who owns an auto parts store in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Okay.
So maybe you can sub out like the transportation.
Right. So I'm working to see if we can go that far. Okay. I know you guys, like, you just hammered that Vancouver people. If I go too far afield, right, it's gonna come back. So
No, but you're telling us in advance.
then that's what I want to do. That's why I
Yeah.
want you guys to call me every now and then, so I could tell you actually what's going on in our office.
Okay. Go ahead, Trace.
Everybody.
Okay, so I'll see everybody next week unless you guys have something for me.
Next month.
Next month, I'm sorry, on the
Next month.
16th.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
Sounds like a
Thanks
plan.
all.
and
All right,
also,
thank you.
real quick, I'm gonna see you
Everybody's
guys.
jumping off. Send an
Yeah.
email.
That's okay. I'm gonna send an email. I'm gonna start sending you guys flyers to the pre-bid meetings,
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
so you know what else we're doing.
That'll be helpful.
This is just the end of the rainbow for me in the plaza. The beginning of
Okay.
the rainbow is
We know
really
that,
cool.
Chuck. We know.
So,
Nobody's questioning your
no,
dedication.
I'm not thinking you're questioning me, but I'm gonna start sending you stuff to the pre-bid meetings. And Jim's been the one. I want you guys to come to one.
All right, well,
Just
we
to know,
busy.
I know if you're not too busy, just to know what's going on, okay?
Okay,
If you're available, all right?
all right,
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Okay, bye.
bye.